Shalom to my brothers and sisters who are called the bride of the Messiah. And shalom, shalom to the scattered Hebrew Israelites who are throughout the four corners of the earth. But you are called the bride of Yahuwah. And Yahuwah is the God of Abraham, Isaac, and Jacob. Shalom. Today you can tell in the tone of my voice, I'm very excited because we have the new moon sightings from around the world, and I'm so happy it came out on yesterday instead of today, and we'll discuss why. But first thing first, I need to get through the announcements right quick. Let's do this part right here right quick, and then we'll be done. Please, when you get a chance, check the video description box or the pinned comment section to listen to the Most High prophetic message. But what we're about to discuss in the calendar does pertain what he's saying, his message, my brothers and sisters, especially you Israelites, because he's now giving signs that are manifesting themselves in the heaven as well in the earth to let the world know that you are not in your proper place, for you are still scattered throughout the four corners of the earth, and he has not delivered us out of the land of our captivity. Okay? Now for that, let's begin. Let's dive right on into this, my brothers and sisters. So here we have the report from renewmoon.com. Okay, let's start with Israel first. Now, they have not sighted the new moon crescent yet. Their expected day to sight the new moon crescent shall be on today, which is Tuesday. Don't you hate when that happens? Okay, let's try this again, which would be Tuesday evening, April the 17th, 2018 AD. However, we over here in the West has sighted the new moon. Let's read this now. It says it was confirmed Monday evening on April the 16th, 2018 AD, that it was sighted in Orlando, Florida in the United States. And I'm so happy it's sighted on this day because it won't throw off the other phases of the moon, which is very important because you know this, my brothers and sisters. The full moon must fall on the 14th or 15th day of each month. And when it does not do that, like it did in last month, it really throws things off. And this is another sign that has been manifest in the heavens unto us to let us know that the reason why the West is seeing the moon before Israel, because as a nation of people, we have not returned into the Holy Land yet. Our Father in heaven has not got his honor and glory yet from mankind, known as Adam. Therefore, until he get his glory and honor, then he will bring us back into the Holy Land, according to the prophecies as written. Well, according to the prophecy as written, then the whole world will know who we are. I'd have to make a correction. He will deliver, I'm sorry, my tongue getting twisted. He will deliver us back to our holy land and take out this land of captivities. And those who are destined and chosen for that place of safety, for that wilderness, for that tabernacle or pavilion, okay, you will be hidden and kept safe until the other prophecies are fulfilled dealing with the last wicked one. And during that time of the last wicked one reigning, then mankind would see who the Most High is, and they would give him his honor and glory. When he get his honor and glory first, then the whole world itself would know who we are, and that we are the children of Israel. Only some of the people in the nations of the earth will know this truth, but not everyone. But the Most High will announce it. Just as he did in Egypt, he shall do it again. So I apologize for that small error that I made. So take this time now to pause the screen because other errors that had cited the new moon crescent on April the 16th, 2018 AD was in central New Mexico, that was in the United States, Phoenix and Prescott, Arizona, that's also in the United States. So this is very good news. And as you see here right now, Renew Moon has this report labeled as the second Renew Moon of the year. And we'll talk more about that because I know there's been more ongoing discussion about the 13th month or not. Okay. So the next place we need to go to now is to the calendar because we need to close out the first month. Now, the reason why I'm still saying the first month because I want to do more research and I want to make sure before making any new changes, okay? And with the next video come out, you will see, in other words, you will get more understanding and you will get details. But right now, we keep things as is until that next video come out for you, my brothers and sisters, so we can review all the key signs that's in the heavens and earth to determine if a 13th month should have been added to the year of 2018. I'm sorry, to the year of 2017 to 2018 or to 2018 to 2019. Okay, so let us begin. So we need to close out the first month. So in the first month that we have labor as a bid, we should have, and this thing takes forever to move down. Let me go back up first. For the sun, first month, it had a total of 30 days. Okay, and that's when the sun entered the first sign of Mazzaroth, known as Aries in the Gentiles' tongue. Okay, and for the moon, for the month of Abib, which is the first month, we have a total of 29 days. Okay. Now I know you may have noticed that I also put Brother Yahushua name down because I'm also going to track what he keeps and compare to what we have so far. So if we need to make any new changes, we will, but we have to make sure everything is correct. Okay. So this is why you see me put in the calendar. Trying to get to the top of it. Right here, I put Brother Yahushua name so we can keep a track of what he's doing, so we can compare. Because in the next video, we're going to go in some deep details. We're going to look at some records to verify some things, okay? And that's all I want to say on that matter. Now, in the second month of the Hebrew calendar, it is called Ziph. You can find it in the 1 Kings chapter 6, verse 1. And we are in the pagan month of the fourth beast calendar, known as the Roman calendar. And that month, our month will fall in between April and May from the year of 2018 to 2019. Okay? And in the second month of the moon, the sun has entered into its second sign, Mazzaroth, which we shall talk further in this video. For those who follow Ezekiel formula that's written in Ezekiel chapter 46, our Sabbath days, well, not our, the Most High Sabbath days will fall on starting at Monday sundown to Tuesday sundown. And for those who have started counting for your sheep of the way offering, the formula for that can be found in Leviticus chapter 23, verse 15 to 22. For you must have a total of 7 complete Sabbaths, and in addition, count 50 days. A lot of people are leaving out the Sabbaths and the 50-day count. Those are 2 separate numbers. If you have studied the sacred books such as Jubilees and also Exodus and written out the time format when Moses came to Mount Sinai to when he came off of Mount Sinai, you will see why Pentecost is in the summer season. Again, these holy days are trying to teach us deep spiritual things, just as we learn from the Feast of Unleavened Bread. It's the reason why the bread is flat. It represents you. You are to remove the leaven from within yourself, and that leaven is the doctrines of man's traditions. Okay, I mean that leaven is the man's doctrines and his traditions. Sorry about that. To prepare you for the next phase, which is in the summertime, which is Pentecost. So we'll say that part when Pentecost come. But again, and also think about the season. You know, we work we have 3 major harvests, which require a lot of work throughout the year. But then the wintertime, we rest. Again, these seasons are also telling us deep spiritual things too. But let us keep going. So as you can see, we here in the West when one of the areas is Americas, saw the new moon crescent before Israel. And you probably asking yourself what is going on. And I've been stressing to my brothers and sisters, please read this prophetic message. For our Father speaks in this message and tell you why, because it's a sign unto you, Hebrew Israelites, on who you are. And it's a reason why we're seeing the new moon in America. It goes to the biblical prophecies that was written to Jeremiah, the prophet Jeremiah, the prophet Isaiah, the prophet Ezra, also known as Ezra. Yeah, go back. It's a reason. Okay. Now let's go back to the calendar. And that you can have access to that message. Just click on the video for awakening call. And when you click on her video description box, see she has a PDF form printed out. I'm telling y'all, it's some deep things in there for you Hebrew Israelites to understand why we are seeing the new moon crescent before Israel. Okay, so more like today, Israel shall see the moon, but it will be on the second day of the moon, not the first day of the moon, but on the second day. So the first day of the new moon crescent fell on April the 16th at sundown, and that day will end on April the 17th at sundown. And the sun on this day is in its first month and 27th day. Okay. When we look at day 4 of the moon, we have on this day that the sun shall enter the second sign of Mazzaroth known as Taurus. Okay. And on this day, it is the last day of the sun first month. And on the sun first month, it had a total of 30 days. Okay. So on day 5 of the moon, the sun's second month and first day will begin on day 5 of the moon. Take this time now to pause your screen for that. Also, in the first week of the moon, you see that we have a waxing half moon. That means increasing in light. And it fell on the 7th day of the moon. Okay. And now we are counting to Pentecost. So first we have to count 7 complete Sabbaths before we can count the 50 days. So our Sabbath fall on the 8th day of the moon, and that is the 3rd complete Sabbath of the 7 we should count. Okay, take this time now to pause your screen. And what I'm going to do, I'm going to blow this up a little bit more so you can see this. My brothers and sisters, I do apologize if it was too small for you to see. I do apologize. Okay, now we're straight. Now let's go down to the second week of the moon. And our things don't want to cooperate when you're trying to get it going. Have to give my computer a while. Okay, here we go. Okay, if you see some of this. So now we're looking at the second week of the moon, and we see that the full moon falls on the 14th day, which is wonderful because that's the day to make up for Passover for those who could not participate in the Passover, known the Feast of Unleavened Bread. Scriptures you want to read are Numbers chapter 9, 2 Chronicles chapter 30, and Exodus chapter 12. Also check on the channel for the holy days and feasts, and you can get more information and details, okay? For those who want to do a further study. If you do not want to watch the video, then definitely read those chapters that I just gave unto you. Okay, so this is why it is very important that we saw the crescent on the 16th day of April, because if we did not saw it on the 16th day in April, then would push the full moon day back to the 13th day of the moon, and we know that is not correct. Now, I do want to explain quickly unto you what happened in the first month. It would be when we had the full moon to fall on the 13th day. I'm going to take my arrow so you can see that right here. It was just the timing of the moon phase. When the moon reached to its full capacity of light, it happened on March the 31st at 3:36 p.m. and that was before sundown. And we won't be able to see that phase of the moon anyway. Make sure I have this correct, because usually on the moon full, I'm trying to get my tongue right. Usually on the day of the moon when it's full, it will rise in the east while the sun sets in the west. Okay. And I did remember going out on that day, looking at the heavens, and I didn't get a chance to look at timeanddate.com to see what the moon rise and moon set time for that day, but I didn't see it, rising on that day, unfortunately. So speaking of that, if you don't mind, my brothers and sisters, let's go to timeanddate.com and do look up that moon rise and moon time for March the 31st. Okay, March the 31st. I'm just real curious of what time did it rise on that day and what time did it set as well. Okay. All right. And which would be fair to you. Now I use timeanddate.com because their projections are really good so far. When the days I go out to observe the heavens, their time do pretty much match for what I see in the heavens. Remember on what's on timeanddate.com is they are projections, but it's very important that you go out and witness these things yourself, or you join with other brothers and sisters who are witnessing the heavens, so you too can compare to what these sites are giving you. So we said it was on March the 31st. Let me look at the full moon day. Okay, we got it for abroad Israel. Okay, go down a little bit more. March the 31st. So the moon rise on at 6:59 p.m. and this is in Israel time. And during that time, when it was in the highest part of the atmosphere, which is known as the meridian passing, and that time was at 12:19 a.m., it was increasing in light at 99.4%. Now, when the moon rise above the horizon at 6:59 p.m. in Israel time, it was about 91 degrees in the sky, but it would be start to decreasing in light. So it'll probably still be around 99 point some percent. So that's probably why I didn't see that day, because the time that I went out was before 6:59, so I couldn't see it. Now, as far as the sunset time, while we looking at this, let me look at March 31st to see when the sun set to compare that time. See, so the sun set, okay, March the 31st. So the sun set at 6:57 p.m. So it was pretty close in time. So you got 6:59 and to compare it to 6:57. So they were pretty much close in time when the sun was setting and when the moon was rising. Okay. Sorry about that, my brothers and sisters. Okay, so let's get back on track. Looking at the second week of the moon in this second new month. So on the 15th day of the moon, as you see here highlighted in green, that is the fourth complete Sabbath of the 7 Sabbath count. Okay. For those who are making up for the Passover, known as the Feast of Unleavened Bread, that would be day 2 for you on the 15th day of the moon. Remember, Passover, known as the Feast of Unleavened Bread, is an 8-day feast. Now we rest on the 14th day, and we rest on the 15th day, and we rest on the 21st day. Go back and review those scriptures, Leviticus chapter 23, to understand about those holy convocation days. Those days we rest as well. Now, if you have to work on these holy days, because we are in the land of our captivities, remember, it starts within the heart first. What the Most High wants you to do is learn how to keep a memorial of these things. And then these things will begin to manifest themselves on the outward. And because this captivity that we are in the fourth beast kingdom, is they did a very good job of giving us a lot of lies that pertains to the calendar. So when you learn the truth about the Most High calendar, the way things are set up in this world in this fourth beast kingdom, they made it very hard for us to keep the Sabbath completely perfect. This is why you need to receive the new covenant, because through the new covenant, can you only keep the Sabbath now perfectly, but now it's by in spirit and in truth, and mystery that many are not understanding. Okay, so let's see what's going on here. Okay, so take some time to understand the new covenant and what it has done. And the new covenant is inclusive of the old covenant. But you have to go back and review what the Messiah was saying. It's a lot of deep spiritual things and mystery that many people are not understanding. Okay? Hold on, that's my phone. Okay, my brothers and sisters, sorry about that. I gotta wrap this up, make this quick. But as you see, in the second week of the moon, we have May to begin on the 15th day of the moon. And that day, on the 15th day, the moon starts on April the 30th at sundown, ending on May the 1st to sundown. Now let's look at the third week of the moon. In the third week of the moon, as you see, we're still counting, or we keep a memorial of the Feast of Leavened Bread. And the 8th day ends on the 21st day of the moon. And on that day also, it is the sun's second month and 17th day. And it falls on May the 6th at sundown, ending on May the 7th at sundown. Now the waning moon, which is the half moon decreasing in light, it falls on the 22nd day of the moon in its third week, and that is the fifth complete Sabbath of the seventh count. Okay. As for the sun, it is the second month of the sun and its 18th day. That falls on May the 7th at sundown and on May the 8th at sundown. And on the fourth week of the moon, we have the last waning crescent to fall on the 28th day of the moon, and the dark moon will fall on the 29th day of the moon. Now, I looked at the time of the dark moon. It begins on May the 15th at 2:47 p.m. in Israel time. So this is why you see me go ahead and put down that this second month will have 30 days because of the timing of the conjunction. We won't be able to see the new moon crescent until the next day, which will fall around on May the 16th, okay, at sundown. On the 29th day of the moon, this is the sixth complete Sabbath count of the seven Sabbaths, okay? And on this day is the sun's second month and 25th day, which falls on the heathen's calendar, which is May the 14th to May the 15th from sundown to sundown, okay? As you can see, it's very important to keep a record of the sun and of Mazzaroth and of the moon, for all these lights in the firmament of the heaven work together to form the Most High calendar, as written in Genesis chapter 1, verse 14. For they are for signs, for seasons, for days, and for years. I hope that this video here helps you so much. And when you get a chance again, please listen to Yahuwah prophetic messages. Also, check out the video that deals with the end of year report totals for 2018 and 2017. And I did have to make an addendum to that to correct one thing I said in the video. So check that out, as well as correction to end of year totals of the Most High calendar. And most importantly, when you get a chance, study the Romans calendar, the ancient Roman calendar, the Julian calendar, and the Gregorian calendar, and what Constantine did. There's a lot of facts that my Israelite brothers and sisters are not talking about. And when you learn the truth about the fourth beast, or what Daniel prophesies in chapter 7, verse 23 to 25, you will learn they did a lot of great changes that no one's talking about. And they made error with those changes too, because they don't follow the heavens. They don't follow Genesis chapter 1, verse 14. So when you have some time, also watch what is the first and seventh day Sabbath in the Gregorian calendar. What is the first and seventh day / Sabbath in the Gregorian calendar? All right, my brothers and sisters, keep preaching the gospel that the kingdom of heaven is at hand. for we are in the season for the Messiah to return. We are in the 7th day from Adam, which is the 12,000 year from creation. Make sure the people receive salvation is written in Romans chapter 10 and baptize them in the name of Yahushua HaMashyach. For the Lamb set the example of the water baptism and the Holy Spirit baptism, and the apostle continued them both. And do you know who that peace that's with you? Think about it. Matthew chapter 28, verse 20. Shalom. That means peace.